Monday literally means moon day. Two sequences follow one another, beginning with full-screen TVs, here and Halloran's awakening. The television connects to the summer of 42, where an older child than Danny and a younger woman than Wendy flirt in a kitchen. It is a breakfast scene, mirroring Jack's breakfast in bed earlier. Coffee is even poured. This TV is a mirror. The number 42 is a doubling of 21, the year of the July 4th ball Jack attends in the film's last shot. The image is lit by the same light as Jack's transfix solo scene earlier in his black sweater. The reverse shots of Danny and Wendy are no less contrasted, hinting at black and white possibilities. If they're not careful, the hotel could absorb them as well. Here, the TV replaces the fireplace. Notice the reversal cutting in the TV film. The TV itself is a phantom of the hotel, a shining it provides. There are no cables connecting it to a power source. In the pre-VCR, pre-cable era, such a clear signal would have been impossible in this remote location. Pay attention to the reflection on the floor and the rug both the TV and Danny lie upon. Despite having a plethora of toys, Danny insists on entering the apartment to retrieve a fire truck. Entering, he splits the center frame through the front door, stylistically mirroring the character on his sweater, a ball game playing Mickey Mouse. Inside, he discovers his dad awakened and staring into oblivion. Spotting Danny, Jack beckons him. The dialogue that follows is a blend of sarcasm and directness, with an ambiguity that signals an increase in malevolence. This is brokered by Danny's resolute calmness as he presses his father. "You would never try to hurt us, would you, Dad?" Jack, tired and unable to sleep, contrasts with what Wendy perceives. This is not the same Jack we saw earlier, eating breakfast. He ominously declares his desire to stay here forever and ever. Notice the doorway Danny stands in. It is subtly framed as a doorway to a doorway, leading to Danny's bedroom. Look closely as Kubrick frames the yellow lighting ceiling fixtures above their heads in reverse shots. Both take on sun-like shapes, subtly anointing them with reflective shine. In a film composed of horizon lines, the bathroom here is the only room still possessing one. Shine emits from the windows to the glossy door, where Redrum will later be written, the floor, and the refrigerator. Jack is doubled in the bedroom mirror. The jeans on the dressing chair even create the illusion of morphic legs. His expression appears noticeably different in this mirror reversal. Kubrick removes the oval lakescape, the portal-like image from the opening scene, above the master bed, signaling that Jack's linear life on this side of the mirror is over. This subtle shift insists that we began the scene inside the continuum of the mirror. It represents a break with the past, ensuring that Jack is entering an alternate past, which paradoxically exists in the film's future. The staircase at the apartment entrance suggests that the doors leading to the hallway from the master bedroom are both false. Kubrick emphasizes these double doors, presenting them both in full frame and through partial elements of the door on the left. The initial corridor, established earlier in the film, revealed that no exterior doors exist here. They are impossibilities. Danny remains fixated on the mirror, keeping tabs on his side, the other side of the mirror, much like how he traveled through the TV at the film's beginning. All lens flares possess a hexagonal refraction, seen above, lower right, from the aperture, Kubrick's most uncanny connection within the film. Notice that both scenes mentioned include cars, yellow balls, and hexagons. Take note of Danny's blue sweater with yellow stars, colors and forms drawn directly from the snowbound Overlook. Danny has transitioned in scale, moving from using his tricycle as a vehicle to navigating the patterns on the floor as miniature roads for his die-cast vehicles. This shift mirrors the maze, and with it the hotel boldly invites him via the yellow tennis ball. His interaction with the hotel, using miniature cars, parallels the maze model's scale and intersects with our initial view of the Beatles' journey skyward, condensing the film's narrative inward. The yellow ball, thrown just before Jack gazes into the maze, reappears when Danny accepts this seemingly godlike scale of control. Danny plays directly in front of an elevator, showing no indication of fear despite having witnessed its ominous flood of blood. Is this a display of fearlessness, foolishness, or perhaps both? Kubrick avoids any direct overlap between Danny and the elevator, scrupulously crafting our association with Danny's boldness as an unconscious connection. Notice how the floor pattern reverses after the ball arrives. Kubrick shifts Danny from where he was into a mirror world, a realm Danny has broken through and become conscious inside. This mirrors the concept of the Matrix, where one can navigate a dream world while the real body remains inert in reality. The word over becomes significant here. It suggests a horizon-based switch, but the very concept of a horizon plane limits our comprehension of Danny's current state. English lacks the nouns necessary to describe this type of shift. To be where he is now, Danny would have to be facing the opposite direction, as indicated by the center knob arrow form, which only points one way. From a filmmaking perspective, think carefully. How is this shift even achieved? If you study the set's design long enough, the answer reveals itself. Kubrick strategically shows us an edge of the elevator before the switch. This small detail anchors the logic, allowing the viewer to deduce the mechanics of this surreal transition. How this logic is deduced, however, is part of Kubrick's deliberate visual puzzle. Remember the primer of the first shots, an upper and lower mirror that evolves into the hotel's floor. This could be the same world, now missing the portal above the bed. Without that first mirror, Jack becomes trapped in this continuum. It's as if we exit this side of the mirror when Jack looks at himself holding the hag. In that moment, we return to our plane, spinning through his perspective. The floor pattern here is an animation, blending the Lamut carpet of the gold ballroom with the outdoor, shined maze, much like the way patterns transform during the Stargate sequence in 2001: A Space Odyssey. This scene, featuring cars, the yellow ball, and hexagons, occurs at the same apparent scale as the lens flare in the title sequence. Notice the differences between the Lamut carpet and the hotel corridor's patterns, curved versus squared, symmetrical versus bilaterally symmetrical. Kubrick's meticulous design choices invite us to consider how these patterns reflect the shifting planes of reality within the Overlook. Also look at the carpet on the right, where Jack is led by the hotel to the shined bathroom, where a woman embraces him. The carpet pattern has what appears to be penis-shaped purple shapes pointing to where Jack is expected to journey. A bilaterally symmetric pattern cannot conceal inherent mirrors, but the Lamut symmetry can. It is inherently mirrorable. Regarding color forms, the carpeting here is deceptively simple. The cube shape at the center of each pattern is blood red, surrounded by golden yellow, and each form has a neck and head that interconnect. Standing upright, Danny embodies the Apollo moon launch vehicle, another 2001: A Space Odyssey reference, with the moon as a point of discovery for men who conquer it. He sends the letters upward, mirroring the opening credits where blue rises to the sky. If the film operates logically in reverse, Danny is animating the floor pattern into the sky with his weaving, symbolizing how the move to conquer the moon is, in essence, a devolutionary act for humanity, akin to his father's desire to destroy him. The Western, European descendant, tribe has historically sought to place a flag of domination on celestial symbols, extending their conquest through time, just as the Overlook Hotel symbolizes domination with its 1921 conquering of symbolic locales. Kubrick is subtly critiquing the space program as a form of phenomena hunting and magic stealing. The Apollo USA imagery animates upwards, not in the traditional NSWE directions, but in a fifth direction, from the floor's symbols, extruding from the right-angle tips of both the woven knob shape in the floor and the rocket tip. The evolution moves from the USA Bugs Bunny t-shirt to the woven Mickey Mouse to the woven Apollo launch vehicle. Apollo, the sun god, is symbolically connected to the hotel, which rolls the Mesoamerican symbol of the sun toward Danny. The Mayan ball court game, dating back to 1000 BC and named after the Olmecs, though no ball courts survive, is considered the first recorded game involving rubber spheres. This was a spiritual exchange between the living and the symbolic world. Players kept the ball in the air as a symbolic act to ensure the sun's continual journey, a kind of omen portal. English colonialism later imported rubber and confined its use to racket games, unconsciously extending the sun game's symbolism by colouring their balls yellow. Notice the glossy paint job on the walls here, shining all the way down the hall. The brown door is particularly striking, with a pronounced streak of glare above the knob, emphasizing its luminous, almost otherworldly quality. The key shot above reveals the meaning of the hallway carpet pattern. The door's colours, red, key tag, yellow, keys and knob, and brown, door, match the floor carpet's palette. The interconnected knob shapes of the woven carpet mirror the doors, symbolising doorways to other dimensions. From the beginning, these patterns have been animating, guiding us through the Overlook's layered realities. The vision into the hotel bedroom presents a split mirror doorway that leads into another broken mirror doorway pair, splitting apart. The carpeting from room 237's master bedroom is visible only for inches, as the room lies to the left of this anteroom. Kubrick lures us into a new modern pattern sequence, from the gold ballroom to the hotel corridor and now to the bedroom. Purple and green emerge as summary colours, a dual blend, red-blue and yellow-blue. Danny repeatedly calls for Mom, suspecting she is playing with him. This creates an Oedipal occlusion, as the female figure he encounters is not her. To toy with us, Kubrick dissolves her into the mirrored door, visible above right. The pattern animates its flow direction in reverse, leading up the steps to the bathroom, the path we are about to walk. Purple and green are colours of death, representing the decay of bodies. Look closely at the carpet forms. They resemble eyes. These radial patterns first appear in the poster, then in the elevator's eyes, now animating into the room and soon reappearing on the boiler power board. As a counterpoint, we find Wendy in the basement, testing the boiler, which seems strangely silent, as if its heat is magical rather than real. She moves left from a vertical mirror to a vertical interview, mirroring her movement to receive the phone call at the film's beginning, a move she has repeated many times. In the vertical interview, to the left is a trio of square and radial forms, the same as the floor indicator on the elevator face, spotted earlier above Jack, seated after his awakening. These forms serve as a non-luminous representation of the gold ballroom bar that Jack will soon face, and where Wendy will run to by the end of this sequence. On the right, there is a desk office set with a chair pulled back. In the next cut, we see Jack finally sleeping at a desk, in a chair similarly pulled back, heaving harrowing screams. Wendy hears these screams, somehow louder than the boiler, as Jack's unconscious mind weaves with the hotel, which shines its malevolence into his dream. Wendy presses a switch, and this action seems to jolt Jack into screaming far away, showing that though the boiler seems inert, the hotel is very much alive. Wendy wakens him, and he collapses to the floor, retelling his nightmare, an auto-suggested horror from the hotel. I dreamt I killed you and Danny. The dream serves its purpose, setting up Danny's reunion with the family as the victim of apparent abuse. The urn and acorn shapes carved into the desk and chair's support decoration are mirrored in 2D on Jack's headstand, painted in gold. These symmetrical designs assist in trapping those unaware of which side of the mirror they're on. At this moment, the mirror consciousness of all parties collides. Jack is dreaming with the hotel, its rage becomes his own. The scene also marks a shift in Wendy's attention. She moves from focusing on Jack to prioritizing Danny, transcending a mirror. Wendy recognizes that Danny needs her more than Jack does, prompting her to walk to him. The image is striking. Wendy looks through Jack at Danny, prompting a rage overload that catapults Jack deeper into the hotel's grasp. Jack enters the ballroom's entrance corridor, an array of black and white images displayed behind him. The logic of this entrance is a structural impossibility. In relation to the lobby, there is no way for the ballroom to exist where it is. Kubrick carefully frames Jack passing by in the left mirror, subtly reinforcing the warped spatial reality. Jack enters the empty gold ballroom, twitching with fury as he saunters to the triptych mirror bar. Here, he duplicates Danny's hand-cleansing gesture from the twins' encounter, covering his eyes with his hands. In this inversion, however, Jack conjures the apparition instead of erasing it. He stares directly at us, the audience, through the mirror. In this moment, we are the mirror. We are the ghosts on this side of the reflection. Little slow tonight, huh, Lloyd? Jack laughs manically. Both he and Lloyd are dressed in blood-red fabric, a detail laden with symbolism. Lloyd pours Jack a yellow fluid, continuing the interplay of colours. The mention of Jack missing his 2 10s and 2 20s is a subtle memory game. Jack has forgotten that his money only exists on the other side of the mirror he's crossed. It is implied, though never confirmed, that Jack recognizes Lloyd from the hotel's black and white photographs, which illustrate its history. Jack's line, "You always were the best goddamn bartender," hints that Lloyd's presence feels familiar, as though Jack has seen him before, perhaps even framed on the walls. In this surreal moment, Lloyd animates from black and white to black and white plus red, blurring the line between memory, history, and hallucination. The liquor transfixes Jack. The bourbon he requests references Europe, but what he receives, Jack Daniels, is not bourbon. Instead, it's a symbolic conflation of the names of father and son. Notice the mirroring of the shined liquor bottles, which reflect the objects seen earlier in the Boulder apartment. The near-comic dialogue is laced with strange aphorisms about a gender war. He refers to Wendy as a sperm bank, intertwined with a race war framed by Protestant banking systems. Jack's reference to the white man's burden reveals his adoption of Wilsonian-era ethics. His phraseology, steeped in 1921 vernacular, telegraphs his eventual enshrinement in the photograph. Notions of credit and accountability surface, reflecting the broader implications of capitalism in a room draped in gold. Jack places the gender war between comedy and rage, adopting an infernal perspective that views his wife and child as dependents requiring correction. The aphorism, "Women can't live with them, can't live without them," ominously hints at murder or suicide as his perceived solutions. This scene is a reverse of the Dr. Wendy interview from earlier, now staged inversely. It's lit entirely by artificial light, with liquor replacing the cigarette, a ballroom confessional. Wendy's arrival is shown from the mirror's conscious side, where she cannot see the liquor. She informs Jack of a crazy woman in a hotel room. Which room? Danny's ploy has succeeded. Jack is being lured to the hotel's one-sided portal, a trap he himself initiated by turning the knob.